Hey everybody, so today I want to do a quick little review. I haven't done a gun review in a while, so I'm going to do a review on my Ruger LCP. This is the NRA version, which they don't offer this edition anymore. It's a limited run. And so today I'm going to talk about the gun. Because 380 ammunition is so hard to find, I don't really target shoot with this gun or any of my other 380s that I own. I need to get some better ammunition, but for right now I'm carrying this ammunition inside the case that it's in, and I'm also using this as my everyday carry ammo right here, which is the zombie ammo, and I do keep that in the box too. So it's kind of hard to see. Basically, when this gun is in the box, it's set up like this, if you can see it, and you got the carry pouch that comes with it. So starting from least important, I still have all the literature that came with the gun inside here. I have the carry pouch that came with the gun, nice little Ruger carry pouch. I carry the base plate, the standard flush base plate is still in the case, but I don't have that on there. And I also have one of these little JPP holsters for my concealed carry, and then of course you have the gun, and the gun is empty. Now the gun will fit inside the holster like this, and it actually rides really nice. Now I might be off on the ounces and everything, but essentially this gun almost weighs the same as an iPhone does unloaded, and loaded it obviously weighs a little bit more. But I'm going to give you a couple close-ups of the gun. And as you can see, it is a camouflage finish on the lower half of the gun, and you can see that it says NRA on the gun, and that it also has the NRA emblem on the other side. Now the sights are really not non-existent, if you will. They are pretty much milled into the slide. There's a little bit of raised metal for the top sight, and a little bit of a raised and cut out piece for the horseshoe. And that's what the gun looks like from the front. And this is the sights right here. I don't know if you can see them, but that's the sights right there. Now the gun is a standard 6+1, so you have 6 rounds of 380 ACP in the magazine, and I do carry it loaded with a round in the chamber. And the reason why is this gun is so safe to carry, in my opinion, loaded, even though it does not have any safety to it. But you have a very long trigger pull, and you can see, I'm going to do it with one finger, how much a long trigger pull it is before it finally breaks. The gun does not have a reset to it on the trigger, so there's not that worry of a reset. You have to bring it all the way forward. In fact, that's that first click, and I can't push it back past this point. And you bring it all the way forward again, and then it goes off again. The gun does not have a slide stop, so automatic slide stop when you have an unloaded magazine in it. The gun does not lock back, or it does not lock back on the last shot. The gun will lock back if you take this takedown bar right here and you pull the slide back and you push not the takedown bar, but the slide release bar up. It will lock back, but you have to manually do that. Some people like that factor because certain ranges will require you to lay your gun down with the slide open, or they load their gun every morning. Instead of doing this number by racking it, they will put the gun in the back position, and then they will, well, it is a little difficult, and because it's so tucked into the slide, you can see how I was having that difficulty. But some people would like the slide back, put a loaded magazine inside of the gun, and then they do this. But you know, obviously they don't. You know, some people like it that way. I don't. Now the way to take down this gun is very simple. Some people say you should pull the trigger. I don't see that it does any difference, but you first make sure the magazine's empty and away from the gun. Make sure the gun is empty. You can take a knife, you can take a bullet shell casing, you can take just about anything, and it's going to be kind of hard to do from this view, but essentially there's this pin right here that you have to get out, and if you get it underneath of the pin and you kind of pry, you don't have to pry that much, and once it gets past a certain amount, which is really shallower than that, I don't know if you can tell, but less than that actually, you can pull it out with your fingers. So you pull the pin out, make sure you set these aside, and then the slide quite literally just comes right off. And there's one thing, you know, that you need to remember when you're reassembling this gun, and as you can see right now, it's nothing but wind inside there. I mean, very, very little parts. So we're going to set that aside. These springs can become, the bars can become worn when you use plus P ammunition through it. And I've learned that the hard way, because I have actually had to call Ruger and order another pin, which they send it to me for free. But I have basically an extra pin. When you're taking this spring apart, you need your recoil system. You need to be careful to remember how you took it apart, because if you put it back together wrong, you can actually damage the guide rod, and the springs. So you have your guide rod, and it almost looks like a rounded off nail right here. And how it quite literally is there is a solid spring, a spring that, you know, that keeps its same diameter all the way around, and then you have a spring right here that goes up and then tapers outward to make it wider. And what happens is you just simply drop that spring into the other spring like that, and then when you reassemble it, you just quite literally put it all together. Your barrel comes out like a traditional style barrel, and that's quite literally all it is right there. It's a really tiny barrel. That's the slide, and reassembly of the gun is quite literally just the opposite. You push your spring in first like that, and then you kind of get it into this little notch right there, and you don't need to cock it all the way, but you line up the little horseshoes, and you want to bring it kind of with your thumb, where you put your finger in the trigger guard and your thumb on the front of the barrel. Bring it to the point where you can see almost daylight, and you just quite literally lock it back, and the gun is reassembled and ready to go. Now, why somebody would want this gun? Well, I got this gun because I wanted a concealed carry piece that I could quite literally carry on me and not even feel it. I needed something that was going to be less in caliber, because a 9mm at the time when I got this gun, the 9mm on the market were just way too big, or way too expensive if they still met the needs. I know SIG makes a 9mm, but to be honest with you, that's way too out of my price range. I got this gun for quite literally, I think it was like $3, so about $300. I may be off on that, but this is an excellent gun for concealed carry. It does have a stout recoil, but it's something that I think a lot of people can get used to, and it's a philosophy that my coworker said to me one time. He said, If you go out in the ocean or in the river in a bay, and you go riding on a boat, and the captain of the boat, he shows you where the life preserver is, or the life jacket, and it's an old, nasty, moldy, stinky life jacket. Well, you know that if you fall into the water, if the boat goes, you fall overboard, or the boat sinks, you know that no matter how nasty, old, and stinky that life jacket is, you're going to take it. This is an example. Even though it's not an old, nasty, stinky gun, it has a lot of recoil and a lot of muzzle flip and jolt. But at the point, if I ever were to use it, I wouldn't care about that, because all I would do is pull that trigger as fast as I can pull to stop the threat. So that's my little gun review for this gun.